I still remember Hedera. I haven't forgotten about it. Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, why am I even answering this, right? Why am I even talking about it in the first place? Well, it's because a lot of people like to tell me, oh, have you forgot about Hedera? Well, no. I mean, I still like it fundamentally because, yeah, sure, the price hasn't been doing the best. But still, at the same time, what altcoin is doing the best as of right now, generally speaking, right? A lot of altcoins, generally speaking, are not doing the best either. So I think HBAR is kind of no stranger to that. So yeah, I just haven't forgotten about it. And sure, I get it. As of right now, people like to say, oh, kind of this narrative that Hedera Hashgraph, how it doesn't use traditional blockchain technology. It's not necessarily such a cool thing anymore and all this type of stuff. Well, not too long ago, take a look at what HBAR did. Now, granted, it's had a pullback since then, but it's still pretty impressive, I think, what it did not too long ago. And that was without even an altcoin season in my perspective, right? And sure, I think fundamentals could only go so far because, for instance, we take a look at Dogecoin, right? I mean, what are the fundamentals really with that? And that's more popular and more well known and has a bigger market cap than HBAR. Totally aware that fundamentals can sometimes only go so far. But really, if I take a look at projects out there, a lot of them, they use traditional blockchain technology. So if let's say there is this kind of trend for projects that aren't just using traditional blockchain technology, something that may be a little bit different, maybe something like Hedera is not, I'm saying, going to be hypothetically only focused on, but it is something that is a little bit different in that case because if I take a look at it, right, traditional blockchain technology is pretty cool, in my opinion, but at the same time, Hedera Hashgraph uses something called a directed acyclic graph, which supposedly, depending on the project, right, it may have some hypothetical sort of, I would say, advantages over traditional blockchain technology, where in some cases it could be argued that the scalability is pretty impressive or the energy consumption. So yeah, when it comes to something like Hedera Hashgraph, sometimes you have to tell me, but the kind of improvements don't seem that much sometimes. So why would this be something that is kind of, really talked about? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes in this space, it is more about the narrative, kind of the story, about kind of the cool factor, right? It's not necessarily just tied to sometimes, oh, it has to be a project that is this fantastic and all this. Sometimes it's more so tied about the story and the narrative. So this right here, just being a little bit different than other projects out there, sometimes is already kind of maybe enough to sort of, have some notoriety a little bit. So I just haven't given up really when it comes to Hedera. I get it. People like to tell me, wow, when it comes to this, it's a little bit boring and all this type of stuff. But when I take a look at just Hedera overall, I mean, as of late, I've seen kind of a focus when it comes to data integrity and AI when it comes to Hedera, which I find pretty interesting because, when it comes to, again, projects out there that do use traditional blockchain technology, a lot of them are also focused on, data, for instance, and also like that AI space. But again, just seeing something like this being focused on that, I think is just really, a little bit more impressive to me, at least in my perspective in some cases. Now, I think also another topic that people often discuss about when it comes to Hedera is the governing council, which supposedly includes something like, Google. We take a look at Mondelez, right? And Mondelez is just very popular overall. I mean, Mondelez, their brands, for instance, one of them includes something like Oreo. But even besides that, there's of course other, Hedera governing council members, but I'm saying when it comes to Hedera overall, why I like it is because it has a pretty good, I think, exposure in terms of the notoriety. I like the governing council. I like the kind of concept behind it because, again, it's a little bit different than other projects out there. So overall, I just don't know why I would give up. I still remember it. That's the way to take a look at it. I just haven't forgotten about it. For instance, I remember back in college when I first, had my first job ever, which was working at a buffet. I still remember that, even as of right now. I haven't forgotten about it because it was a fond memory, right? It was a good memory because it was my first job ever. I had a good time there, made a lot of friends, and, I was doing it when I was working at college, so it was just a good experience overall. When it comes to Hedera, I guess it's a little bit different than that, but it just kind of gives me that vibe. That's the way to take a look at it. It just kind of gives me that vibe when I was first working at a buffet not too long ago when I was at college. But I'm saying, that's kind of the way I would put an analogy on it, the way I view it. Now, when it comes to HBAR at maybe the hypothetical idea of $3, right? Is it still in my mind? Yeah, I mean, it hasn't left my mind. It is now hypothetically around a 60 next from here. It's still a ways away, I would say, but who knows? Only time will tell. However, I have not seen an altcoin season during this cycle. This is the way to take a look at it. It's like, for instance, some people like to say, oh, but HBAR did that not too long ago, and there's a pullback, but is that an altcoin season? Now, personally, for me, I would not consider that an altcoin season just because I don't think I've seen that kind of 2021 type of altcoin season type of vibe, right? So that's why I'm still waiting, I'm still holding, I'm still staying patient. And I think what HBAR did not too long ago, having that pretty okay rally before the pullback, of course, I think it kind of showcased to me that all I can do is literally just stay patient, hold, and that's it. Because I cannot anticipate that to happen, right? There's no way I could do that. There's no way I can make a project do this or do that. It's like, for instance, let's say I'm watching the Super Bowl. Can I, make a team do this or do that? No. The only thing I can do is just be a fan, watch, and that's about it. No matter what team I'm a fan of or what team I'm rooting for when it comes to the Super Bowl, the only thing I can do is stay patient because me liking which team, it's not going to determine how well they're going to perform, right? It's like, for instance, let's say I'm a fan of Hedera. Like, I cannot control what it does. Like, I cannot control this market. So all I can do is just stay patient, hold, and wait. And that's what I'm going to do because if, let's say, for whatever reason, there's an altcoin season and something happens, if I'm just holding the entire time anyways, it's kind of like maybe hypothetically going along with the ride. So yeah, that's the way to take a look at it. In the meantime, though, I am still staying patient. I haven't given up. I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but that's just literally about it. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you like to say, oh, isn't that kind of boring? Well, again, what can I do? And I also think that there's other things to do actually instead of just checking the portfolio every 5 or 10 minutes. I get it seems pretty exciting at times. But then, I mean, there's other things to do, right? Like, for instance, personally, in my case, riding a bicycle, going to the park, hanging out with friends, going to the movies. I mean, there's things to do and not only just doing that, for instance. So, yeah, personally, for me, I am still staying patient. I get it. It's been quite a while. I mean, we're in November as of right now. I don't think I've seen an altcoin season during this cycle, but still, I'm staying patient. I'm waiting, holding, and that's all I can do really. But generally speaking, I haven't forgotten about Hedera just because I like the fundamentals, just because I like what they're doing in terms of kind of the approach that is being taken here, because it is a little bit different again than other projects out there. However, when it comes to HBAR, yeah, sure. I don't think it's going to become, the hypothetical biggest thing out there of all time. And it's not even the biggest right now, but I still like kind of the established nature of sort of the market cap, the amount of holders, and I think the community is amazing. So I'm still holding, I'm still staying patient, and just, basically that's about it. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video real quick to kind of showcase how I'm still remembering this project. I haven't forgotten about it. And of course, if there's some updates, if there is something that's going on, I'm going to be making updated videos. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for that. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you'll have a nice day. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.